No, we did actually.
With your hat on it, though?
The hat.
Well,
That's probably going to work very well, I imagine.
Do you have
We might sound like we're like a small room.
It's our pop filter.
Bad puck filter.
Yeah,
I think it might just make it sound like we're in a tiny room.
Nobody's going to be close enough to make pops. Just
Yeah.
That's probably true.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you.
So sorry about that. We're making sure that the hat actually works. Oh.
Now it's off, and now try that. We're gonna test. We're gonna test both of them.
Okay, yeah, we'll be fine. Then
It's
you
still,
can actually
it's
turn
still
that
showing
off.
as offline.
You can just turn that off
Yeah.
now. All right, so we're going to be here, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. I'd like to actually start off by
Round of introductions.
going with the names of everyone. So starting with Ant and going clockwise.
They can't see us. It's fine.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we all use really funny different voices so they know who's talking.
Yeah, that's also a good point. Anyways, so this is the Global Game Jam 2015 Post-Mortem from SUNY Albany and MagFest. Thank you, everyone, for coming over. So I'm going to go through this spiel real quick. What is a Global Game Jam for anyone who's wondering? A Global Game Jam is a game jam held around the world where participants challenges themselves to create a game in 48 hours. You can check it out at globalgamejam.org, all one word, all lowercase. And what is a post-mortem? A post-mortem is a look back at how we made games. It's supposed to be kind of like a learning lesson for both people who actually made a game and for others who plan on making games to make sure that they don't fall into the same traps or they use the successes of other people. They're typically divided into 4 sections, with the first one being what did we do, second what went right, third what needs improvement, and fourth what do we need next. So, first questions for all of you guys. This is supposed to be like an open discussion, so feel free to throw your feedback in. How was it, Global Game Jam 2015?
Do you want to do round table first? Or I guess it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, we're gonna introduce it.
Right.
Oh yeah, let's go with introducing ourselves.
So don't
Yeah.
throw all that in.
So
That's
by the
Brian.
way, real quick, my name is Taro Omiya. I'm part of Omiya Games, and I went to the MagFest site. And
I am Anthony Rosell.
which site do you go to?
Oh, we all were all
Yeah,
beside you.
Everyone
We're all
else.
beside
Yeah.
you. We're Albany.
Okay,
We don't have to do
so I'm
that.
the only MagFest
Yeah.
guy. Everyone else went to City
Everyone but
Albany.
you went to all.
I went to U Albany.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Drew, and you Albany. I'm Master. I was also at the Albany site.
I'm Terrence Tolman. I'm also same. Go, Brad.
I'm Brian. You know where I went.
Keith went to Albany.
I'm Jamie. I went to Albany.
And then also, the rest of you guys also might as well chip in your name, even though you may not have participated in Global Game Jam.
David Salma.
Okay.
Dylan. I was bedridden.
Oh no! Oh no!
Andrew knows how that feels.
Make a game in your bed.
Robert Kenner.
Okay. And
I am Alana O'Hara.
okay, cool. So obviously, positive comments on the question. How was it? Let's
Awesome.
see. What did you make?
A video game.
Well, so
Not everybody did.
So with this quote, I was thinking about make a very short description, a paragraph-long description of the game that you made.
Oh, I have one. Go ahead.
Anyways, so I'll start.
I guess
I
we
made
all did first,
I made a
actually.
game called Impossible Poker. It's listed under the MagFest site. It's a game where it's a card game where you don't know the rules. Playable with a single deck of playing cards, 2 yes or no question. 2 cards, and one that says yes, one that says no, and finally a few tokens. I know Jamie and Anthony created the same game, correct?
Along with my brother.
We worked together along with Terrence's brother Matt.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 of us made a game called Pen Pals, which was a hodgepodge of different ideas from different people on the team, and we just jammed them together, game jam style. And
Made actual game jam.
Yeah, it became a game about. It was a mixture of Matt's idea, which was the theme of the jam. I don't know, did we mention that yet?
No.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
Oh, we should
I
mention
forgot
that.
to
That's a good
mention
idea.
that. The theme of the jam was everyone.
What do we do now?
Yeah, what do we do now? Okay, so go on.
Yeah, so we had a bunch of different people who had proposed ideas, and I was kind of stumped by this one. It's probably embarrassing to say as a
Really?
game designer.
It's really vague.
Yeah, it's so vague in general.
Yeah.
I do well when the prompt is
It's
so much
very-
more specific.
yeah.
And like,
Well, Lester was-
I had so many ideas. I must be like.
or that's the problem with me. I can't handle
that's the
too
thing.
many
It was too
ideas.
much. It was too broad. Yeah, I thought. I mean, it was
I
cool.
need more
liked it.
constraints.
Yeah. So I ended up kind of just listening to lots of other people's ideas because I didn't have a lot to shout out. And then there were a lot of them that appealed to me. So anyway, so one of the two ideas was from Matt, as I mentioned, and it was this idea of effectively tutorial the game, which was just, a game with a very overzealous tutorial character that's constantly over-explaining, like, what do you do now? Just telling you what to do next when it's kind of fairly obvious already.
Backstory to that, he had never ever made a game before ever.
Yeah.
So he didn't know really what to do at the jam, so that's kind of where he
maybe
was
that
gonna...
idea of a tutorial character walking you through everything was particularly appealing to him.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So I really like that idea, particularly because I've been, for the past 3 years, working on design for free-to-play games, and I've been creating these laborious tutorials. Trying to make them short. You'd think for a game that's like Farmville, you wouldn't have that much to explain, but I'm the master of over-explaining. Yeah. So anyway, so that seemed like something that was in my wheelhouse as far as just being overly verbose. And then Anthony had an idea. Do you want to explain like the genesis of the?
This might be going a little too long.
Okay. Well, anyway, Anthony had an idea about writing a letter with a quill pen and then spilling your ink, because a lot of people had ideas about like disastrous events and what do we do now. And Anthony's idea was sort of a much more minor inconvenience that people sort of overreacted to. Like, what do I do now? Spill my ink. So we combined those two into a game that I'm sure we'll talk more about.
All right, Drew.
Worked and made a game called Poop, where you got a with an umlaut over the U.
Oh,
P-U-P-A.
Okay.
And it was based on Tamagotchi and Dinky Dino, and you got a obnoxious like Castle Crashers style cute, slightly inappropriate unicorn, and you're like, you have it, you have to take care of it now. It's your problem.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what we worked on.
Yeah.
We try to create a game based on the idea of randomness in what you want to do. It's basically looking at WarioWare games with macro games and not knowing what you have to do next. We tried and kind of failed, I suppose.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
When I tried making my game called Noloclone, which is also similar in style, it was very frustrating to make.
Yeah, lots of technical issues.
Yes, that too.
Skip me. I have a paragraph written up already. I just need the internet to work. I'll come back to mine.
So I actually did music for the game Master was just talking about there, but I also, starting at like 2 a.m., the final night of the jam, ended up throwing together a card game called What Will We Draw Now, playing off of the theme of the jam. And how it works is all the players, it's kind of apples to apples style game where there's a judge each round, and then all the other players are doing stuff. And all the other players are placing down these cards which have numbers on them. Then you arrange all of the cards by order of number, and it collectively like describes a really weird scene. So the one card is always a character, the second card is always like a weird plot twist, and the third card is an object. So you'll end up with situations like Darth Vader slam dunking the following item through a basketball hoop, a swarm of angry hornets. Or draw your favorite Disney character, but instead of hands growing out of the wrists is a horrifying contraption made out of saw blades. Stuff like that. And then all the players have to draw that situation that has been created by all the players with all the cards they've laid out.
It's hilarious.
And the judge picks the best drawing. And then there's a couple more rules, like I basically had it. So adding some time pressure to encourage players to not care too much about their drawing ability. So after the first person finishes their drawing, everyone else has 10 seconds to finish their drawing. Just add a lot of time pressure, make people's drawings kind of quick and terrible and hilarious. So yeah, that's kind of how my game works.
Nice.
Actually, I submitted it without having ever play tested it because I was working so late, but it totally worked. I need to kind of revise the scoring rules, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. The 3 groups or so that play tested it had a blast playing it.
Yeah, those drawings are great. I messed up the first round. Very first round, I drew something completely not...
Terrence, what?
I know, it was funny. I combined the wrong things. I'll go last. That's right.
So my team worked on the heartwarming tale of Drunk Simulator.
It's a cautionary tale, I would say.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale.
On an Oculus Rift, no less.
That was bad, yeah.
But that's what also made it a good idea. It was a good idea because it was a terrible idea.
Yeah,
unplayable game.
The original idea was a staircase, an Oculus Rift in first person, and you'd have to control the individual limbs to get to the top of the staircase without falling backwards. Not exactly what we made, but
Oh,
Close enough.
What you made works really well, I think, anyways.
That's close enough in my book.
Oh yeah, okay. So I had a thing for my website. So this is better. Okay. Factory Reset is a 2-player cooperative game developed in only 48 hours by myself and Darren Malley and Jeremy. I don't know his last name. Anybody got that? Let me know. 2015 Global Game Jam. I was responsible for the art, so on and so forth. Blah 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 blah. We collaborated. Okay. No. All right. Here it is. You play as 2 robots named Bleep and Bloop, who suddenly power back on to find themselves in a post-apocalyptic factory with limited battery life that only recharges when the 2 bots are in close proximity. You must learn to work together to solve puzzles and answer the Game Jam's theme question. What do we do now? Yeah, so it was pretty fun.
Awesome.
It was 5 levels too. We got done, which was and some splash art at the end. Woo!
To give a little more,
Right.
to give a little more context for the people who haven't actually attended to a Global Game Jam, the next question I had was how was the event conducted? So Brian and Brian will describe how SUNY Albany went, and I'll talk about how MagFest went.
so
And we'll try our best to make this as short as possible. So go.
You can go first.
Okay. That's fine.
I'll just copy what you say.
Just say it was just better. Just make
Yeah,
it
exactly.
better.
Everything was better in there. So the way MagFest works was actually we had the keynote speaker with James Portnow and Anna McGill and other sort of high-profile people talking about how to make games in 48 hours. But besides that was an hour-long thing. They went with. They had a quick keynote, they showed the video, the theme was presented, what do we do now? We moved down, and...
Keynote was awesome, by the way.
Yeah, the keynote was really great.
Rocking.
I will just search it for you on YouTube as much as possible.
It should
I
be
tried to
good.
show it to my parents, but it was not translated in Japanese, and I was so all sorts of sad. Anyways, the way it works, the way they work is they had an hour-long brainstorming session, or actually 3 minutes because they're behind schedule. 3-minute long brainstorm session where you had to write down your idea on a piece of paper and put it up on the wall. Everyone got a post-it note where they wrote down their name and their profession, and they put their post-it notes on the idea that they liked the most. That was how the team was built. Basically, towards the end of the team building exercise, the ideas were taken right off the wall, and people gathered around where the post-it notes went, and we discussed on the game idea from there. Day 2 on 3 o'clock, I believe, they actually let some MagFest attendees in there to have them play test our games and see whether it was going. How well it was going or not. So we got some really amazing feedback there. And day 3 ends with, I believe they asked us to submit it at 1 o'clock because the website was guaranteed to be down during that time. So we had the submission going on at 1 o'clock. 3 o'clock, was it 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock?
3.
I believe it was 4 o'clock when they said pencils down. You must have your stuff done. And we went through our presentations. The end of the presentation, we played other people's game, voted on which one was top by just writing down one name on an index card and tossing it to the organizers. And they finally presented who won the prizes of happy, good feeling, happy, fuzzy feeling. That was about it. But anyways, basically they had the judges votes, which included like what the best story, the best graphics, that kind of stuff, and also the audience favorite, and that's how the jam ended.
Cool.
So for the SUNY site, it actually went pretty similar to that. Coincidentally, both me and Drew were organizing it.
Before I go any further, I should mention that the presentation, we just stood up there and presented within a 5-minute time limit. I know that SUNY Albany does it differently, so I figured I would put that detail in there.
Right. So we didn't have any in-house special keynote speakers. We just had the keynote video. We usually start with an icebreaker activity, and this year me and Drew came up with a particularly weird RPG Quest style system game, which was fun. Which was pretty fun. I unfortunately did not design it for how long people were actually playing it. I initially told the design for a 20-minute experience, and we ended up playing it for half an hour or something. It wasn't scaled correctly, but it was still a lot of fun. Yeah. So after that, then we did the keynote video, released the theme, all that sort of stuff. People could form teams and brainstorm ideas. We usually have people kind of talk and come up with ideas for a while, and then announce people can pitch ideas if they've thought of a good idea to try to bring more people interested in their idea to form teams. after the beginning of the first night, they still had to kind of announce their team.
Yep.
If I remember correctly, right? Yeah. So they had to announce their team and kind of the base idea for the game, sort of. More or less, Saturday kind of went the same as the MagFest sites did, except for without the MagFest people showing up. We did have a couple people showing up occasionally, but surprisingly less so than this year than in previous years. I know in previous years we've had various SUNY students coming by to interview the game developers for like projects they were working on, or like we've had local press come by, and neither group happened really this year, which was kind of unusual.
I think the Game Jam this year occurred at a very different time compared to other
students
schedules.
just showed up too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that was-
We were like a week ahead of other institutions' schedules this year, so
Yeah.
people weren't set up to go do that.
people
Right.
weren't just there. They like school
Yeah.
had just gotten in that
The-
day. That
yeah.
week,
Yeah.
or something. Yeah. So it was like.
So it was a
I am
weird.
going to mention that during MagFest, when I said like they let MagFest people in there weren't that many people coming in there. They didn't know that there was a jam going on below them, so it was most of them just kind of happened to stroll by sheer
That's cool.
coincidence.
That's probably good though. You don't want like a mob.
We had like an
Distracting
incredibly intense lecture from one of our playtesters, so yeah, that
Interesting.
happened.
And then,
Anyways,
We'll get to that. Yeah.
one of our organizers, she was going around kind of with a clipboard, sort of marking people off and kind of keeping them on track for things of like, by this point you should have this thing done. Do you have like your name on the website? Do you have like a project set up by this point? That sort of stuff to keep people on track, because it's very easy during a game jam to lose track of that stuff when you're busy working on your game. And then the last day for our presentations, one thing we do differently at our site, which we've been doing so for the last few years, is rather than actually having the people present the game, we have them make a video. So that's one of our like checklist requirements, and they actually present the video instead of their game first, just so everyone can kind of see like a quick rundown of all the games without people dealing with technical issues of the game not running right on the presentation computer, or people going over in time because we timed them for like you have exactly 5 minutes to talk about your 4 minutes to talk about your game, and then we cut you off, that sort of stuff. And then after that we have a nice little section where everyone's allowed to play all of the games and experience them as much, mingle and that sort of thing, and then after